This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, filming is underway for a new children's TV show at one of Dunedin's hottest locations. Proponents of a new cycling venture in Queenstown are hoping their event may attract international attention. And a Dunedin artist has 10,000 reasons to celebrate after he takes out a Wanaka-based competition. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. It's lights, camera, action at Dunedin's warmest nature enclosure. Filming is underway for a new children's television show, with the team taking full advantage of the exquisite tropical butterfly house at Otago Museum.
With the objective of making computer programming interesting for youngsters, Dunedin filmmakers Katie Brocky and Earl Kingy have been busy at the Otago Museum for an ongoing children's television series called Code Fun.
It's series 2, aimed at the younger audience, and the theme is insects and spiders and critters, little critters.
The TV series has little critter presenters Macy and Hashim exploring the tropical forest and showing all the stages of a butterfly's life, with analogies of how to unbug computer code. And also on the agenda for the film crew was a close encounter with a South American tarantula.
In the morning they're looking at our beautiful butterflies, and in the afternoon they're looking at the tarantula.
Otago Museum Marketing Manager Kate Octay says the museum's pleased to be able to show off the tropical forest to New Zealand viewers.
We feel so proud that Dunedin has got something like this. It's the biggest science centre in New Zealand. It's the only 3-level butterfly house in all of Australasia.
Code Fun is to be aired on TV2 and TVNZ on demand. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Several central Dunedin businesses were flooded for a second time in less than a month after a water pipe burst this afternoon. Firefighters were called to Leith Street just before 1 p.m. after reports of water flooding the street. Water entered several business premises and sandbags were used to divert the flow of water away. Both Leith and Harrow Streets were cordoned off and the Dunedin City Council is investigating. Less than a month ago, a suspected burst water main caused surface flooding in the same area. All going well, Queenstown could play host to a world-class biking festival next summer. Organisers say their aim is to grow the event into the largest of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere.
Next summer might see a 10-day bike festival being launched in Queenstown. And Red Bull professional freestyle rider Remy Morton has thrown his support behind the event, which aims to become the best bike festival in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's good to see like an event brought back like that can bring everyone together and all of spectators so easily accessible. It's going to be really good.
The 22-year-old from Australia rides both BMX and downhill mountain bikes and says he's based himself in Queenstown because of the quality of trails and jumps in the area.
I'm pretty good mates with all of the international pro riders. I would say that it's within the top 5 destinations in the world, and that's why I live here.
Morton says the fact that so many professional riders are already based in Queenstown will help the festival achieve its goal to become a world recognised event.
Definitely, like the facilities we have here are world class, and then the opportunities within are just insane because there's so many high profile, not only athletes but people within the industry that live in town, so it's such a good place to bring in everyone and get involved with it all.
The festival will incorporate both races and social events, with dates set for February next year. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Local government rule changes could enable 2,500 more homes to be built in Dunedin. Changes to the city's district plan could include new development in rural zoned areas, allowing more medium density housing, and also rule changes around granny flats. Council City Development Manager Anna Johnson says the 2,500 new homes will be in addition to the almost 3,500 houses already expected to be built over the next 10 years. Councillors are set to debate the plan changes next week. A Dunedin artist has a good reason to celebrate after winning a $10,000 art prize. Port Chalmers artist Philip Maxwell's interpretation of Deborah Bay won over the judges at the Craig's Aspiring Art Prize exhibition in Wanaka earlier this month.
This cubist representation of Deborah Bay has won Dunedin artist Philip Maxwell the top prize of $10,000 at the Craig's Aspiring Art Prize exhibition in Wanaka. Exhibition organiser Yeverly McCarthy says the quality of artworks has improved considerably since the competition began 14 years ago.
The first year was absolutely ghastly. Some of the art was, really it was. We didn't even know how to hang it. We didn't have a blue clue what to do with some of it. But boy, I've seen some of these artists now coming through after 14 years and they are fantastic. And they've really grown. Sponsored
by Craig's Investment Advisors, the event raises funds for Wanaka's Holy Family Catholic School.
Every year we're able to give the school pretty much $20,000 or a bit more. And we're very proud to be able to do that. We've given, you work that out, we've been given over $250,000 to the school in the time that we've been running this.
The exhibition's organisers are also intending to start an art foundation to stimulate the school's pupils into artistic creativity.
Because a lot of the time the teachers and things don't have a time in their curriculum to do that, but we thought that might be a nice way of, if we could bring in, for instance, say a guest artist or something that can show them how to make different things or teach them different things, or we could take them off campus to do other bits and pieces like that. So that's what we're working towards.
This year's judges were Professor Federico Freschi from the Otago Polytechnic and the Hocken Collection's head curator, Robin Notman. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Scaffolding is going up around the former Cadbury factory ahead of its impending demolition. And there's a new house with the difference being built in Makarora. We'll find out what makes it so unusual after the break.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Welcome back. Scaffolding crews have started work erecting a frame around the former Cadbury factory. It's the latest step towards the eventual demolition of the building, making way for the new Dunedin Hospital. The former chocolate factory still has a few weeks remaining, with demolition scheduled to start in the first week of March. Ministry of Health Construction Director Andrew Holmes says the scaffolding will allow crews access to high areas if needed. The metal frame around the building is set to be draped with encapsulating material to help protect crews and passers-by. House building in the Queenstown Lakes district is fairly common these days, but they're usually quite traditionally designed. However, that's not the case for a 24-sided house being built in Makarora, which its designers say will end up looking like a big yurt.
No, it's not quite a circular house, but its designers insist it's a 24-sided house, otherwise known as an icosatetragon.
And we've designed the first two-storey yurt, which we're now building, and yeah, so we're 8 months into the build, around about, I think, or maybe not that long.
Builder Tim Ryan says their so far unique structure has been professionally designed and drafted. In times where building materials and space are at a premium, he says there are many advantages of a building like this.
We've got a 66 square metre footprint, and within that footprint we've been able to build a 132 square metre building. And it's 5.5 metre height limit here in Makarora, so we've been able to design this building into that height limit and have enough living for a family of 5.
He and partner Carmen Howell designed the 66 square metre building to accommodate them and their children. And Howell says the internally spacious dwelling sits on a classic Kiwi quarter-acre section, which they're growing their own fruit and veggies on.
And that's a throwback, to our heritage here in New Zealand, where everyone had a quarter-acre section. It was quite resilient, and we don't have that anymore. So people get locked into these tiny little sections. They're being forced to build a certain size house on a certain section, which I understand works for some people, but not for everyone. And we're just trying to bring back, some of that good old-fashioned Kiwi ingenuity and resilience, where we grow our own food and grow our own vegetables, and that's what I remember growing up. I've always grown up with that.
When completed, it'll feature underfloor heating, triple glazed windows, plenty of natural wood, and a self-supporting roof. She says during the construction period, their unusually designed home has been turning heads.
We had a couple travelling around during the coronavirus, or just after the coronavirus, the lockdown, and they stopped here, had a chat with us, and ended up staying for 3 hours. So we made a connection through the house. That was great.
Tim Ryan says they're using about 30% less materials to build this than are used in a traditional square house. And the family expect to be living in their icosatetragon by winter. In Makarora, the South Today.
And now we continue our week-long series looking at events that took place over the Christmas holidays. About 200 people visited Papatūai on New Year's Eve for the annual Beach Carnival and Big Dig.
The weather god smiled down on Papatūai Beach in the Catlins on New Year's Eve as dozens of young and not so young lined up for the annual Big Dig, which has been organised by Wayne Allen and friends since the early 1990s.
We've been doing the event here for about approximately 50 years, maybe a little more. I've been coordinating it for, I suppose, about 30 of those years.
Despite a forecast of rain, Allen says the day, which included a beach carnival, was a huge success.
We thoroughly enjoy it, and seeing all the children digging up these prizes. It's great to see the children enjoying themselves. And look at the weather we've got here today. Well, you can't beat it, can you? I had to bring some sunblock.
A week later, and about 40 kilometres further along the southern coast at Curio Bay, about 100 people were also digging to enter their sandcastles into a sculpting competition. Squally weather made this year one of the most challenging yet out of the 16 years the event has been held. But organisers say they were very pleased with the turnout. In the Catlins, The South Today.
After the break on the South Today, a troublesome rubbish tip at Fox Glacier is being scrapped, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome to Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have no shortage of stock. Check these out. We've got the Dunedin print t-shirts. Check out our zillions of short sleeve shirts. These are crackers. They iron themselves in the wash. Iron cheater they're called. And there's some really cool polo shirts. Look at all the bright colours. And of course there's no shortage of shorts. This is always one of our brightest colours. Our long sleeve fashion shirts. Jeans, casual trousers, dress trousers, you name it, we have you covered.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So if you're shopping for your family or yourself, come and see Alex Campbell Menswear stores. We're full of stock.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. The old Fox River Landfill, which spewed rubbish along hundreds of kilometres of the west coast after floods, is to be removed. Heavy rainfall and floods broke open the landfill on the banks of the Fox River in 2019, sending waste downriver through the national park and out to beaches. At the time, nearly 1,000 volunteers helped with the clean-up. Workers have now started removing the 14,000 cubic metres of rubbish left in the landfill. It will be put onto trucks and moved to a landfill in Hokitika. The clean-up job was expected to be finished by the end of March. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Filming is underway for a new children's TV show at one of Dunedin's hottest locations, where it's all about code fun. Proponents of a new cycling venture in Queenstown are hoping their event may attract international attention to the resort town. And a Dunedin artist has 10,000 reasons to celebrate after he took out a Wanaka-based competition. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie. How are you?
Good evening. Very good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Lots of news happening today. Busy old day. Aurora Energy, never far from the news. So, some details today about exactly what power price rises we can expect from later this year, and a good news, bad news situation by the sound of it. So, if you live in central Otago, happily, looks like it will be yes, that will be slightly lower than forecast, which is great. If you live in Dunedin, perhaps not so good. It looks like the power price hike will be slightly steeper than forecast, so that's going to create a lot of interest. Hopefully we'll have some examples of what our power bills might start to look like. So.
Right.
And a bit of weather today. It was raining a little bit when I came to work. I didn't quite realise how heavy the rain had been in Dunedin, but a little bit of flooding around Leith Street. A couple of businesses severely flooded there actually. They're a little bit concerned, and I think we've got some comment from the Dunedin City Council around the state of some of the pipes in that area, and I think there might be a little bit of an issue around flooding.
Okay.
So. Great yarn and a photo on demolition. Who knew that it's now a course? You can study a tertiary course in, I suppose it's called Demolition 101 or something.
Right, yeah.
Obviously a highly technical thing, demolishing old buildings, and very topical in Dunedin where we're looking at a hospital project underway. So a great yarn and a photo on this this class, Demolition 101 class, who as part of their class got to demolish a little bit of a building, so quite good fun.
Right.
And speaking of nice yarns, there's a really lovely yarn on the business pages on Steve Roy. So Steve's been a panel beater in Dunedin for 50 years, which is a heck of an effort. He's about to retire. Good bloke Steve. He was married to the late Cheryl Roy, the wonderful netball coach, and there's a really good spread on him looking back on his career, the ups and downs and the ins and outs of panel beating over 50 years, so that should be well read. So all that and all sorts of other bits and pieces will be around.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hayden. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, the end of the golden weather with a wet and grey afternoon in Dunedin. Looking at the situation, a deep depression passes over the seas south of the country tomorrow with a very strong cold westerly airflow. Widespread wintry showers are likely tomorrow night and Thursday with snow on the ranges and some hail. Looking at the northwest, expect 13 degrees and rain, thunder and lightning for Greymouth and Westport. On the eastern side, it's wet for Nelson, heading for 17 degrees, while Blenheim should be grey with 19. A bit drier down the east coast, cloudy skies prevail, 18 degrees in Kaikoura and Christchurch and 19 in Ashburton. To the southern towns, Lumsden, Balclutha, Catlins and Gore are all looking at southwesterly gales and sleety showers, 11 degrees for the Catlins and 9 degrees for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. To central, it's strong westerlies and sleety showers for all centres. Alexandra should reach 12 degrees, Queenstown and Wanaka 9 and Tiano 8. To the northern towns, strong northwesterlies with a brief rain on the coast, 17 degrees for both Timaru and Oamaru. Inland, prepare for strong westerlies with heavy showers and 11 degrees for Twizel and Omarama. In Dunedin, clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 9. Cool tomorrow, fine at first with sunny periods. High cloud and moderate west-northwesterly winds. You can plan for possible thunder and hail, a high of 16 and a low of 9. Cloudy with frequent showers on Thursday and some hail likely with potential gale force winds on the coast, a high of 13 and a low of 8. And in Invercargill, showers and gusty westerly winds tonight with an overnight low of 7. Strong to gale southwesterlies tomorrow with frequent showers, some heavy with hail, a high of 11 and a low of 5. Similar on Thursday, it will be unseasonably cold for this time of the year, a high of 10 and a low of 5. And that's all for our news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.